Take a look at your screen. This is the condition of one woman's car after she said two people, including one child, stole it and crashed it on November 30th. The car, as you can see, is completely totaled.
What's happening, people? Buzz here. We need to talk about this DoorDash delivery driver who just got off work as a nurse 15 minutes before she's about to take off. She's sitting in her car and she gets the pew pew pointed at the head by 11-year-old boy accompanied by 18-year-old. Let's take a look at this. Virginia DoorDash driver was shocked when she was carjacked at gunpoint by two people while making a delivery, one of whom was an 11-year-old boy. While it's terrifying enough to go through something like that, realizing a literal child is beyond the crime is even more jarring. So we got this rise in crime with these juveniles. Now, this kid is as young as 11 years old. 11 years old. We're talking about someone who should be focusing on, playing games. You think about sports, hanging out with friends, and not hanging out with 18-year-olds who are taking them along to go carjacking. Now, this kid could have got shot. If this woman would have had a gun, she might have hit him with the gun. You know what I'm saying? Bring a gun to a gunfight. Now, he didn't die. They just took off with the car and then crashed it later on down the road. They recovered the car, but the car is mostly totaled. Now, this woman just barely paid off this car, so now she has to deal with that, unfortunately. She was working towards getting a home for her and her child. Now, can you imagine you're just out and about making deliveries or just getting off work, and next thing you know, you're getting carjacked by an 11-year-old boy? This is what happened to this woman. It's horrible. Carjackings on the rise on the nationwide. Investigators say many juveniles responsible. Now, look at these statistics here, guys. This is insane. Carjackings have skyrocketed the nation's capital, according to officials. With a few days left in the calendar year, there have been 932 carjackings in 2023 in Washington, 77% of which involved guns. Only 167 people have been arrested for carjacking in the district, and those arrested, now look at this is going to be shocking, 62% were juveniles, according to authorities. 62%, people, juveniles. That's almost 3/4 of the individuals carjacking are absolutely only juvenile. Now, these kids should be focusing on school, like I said, PlayStation, hanging out with friends, etc. But no, they're pointing guns at people who are just trying to make a living and hash it out in this world, and they lose everything. They lose their life, they lose their vehicle, they have to work to get another vehicle, they have to work with the trauma, dealing with this, 11-year-old who's supposed to be at home, like I keep saying, at home with the family and focusing on school. But we're not focusing on school with these children in these inner cities. We're focusing on carjacking, crime, criminal mischief, looting that's continuing to happen around the nation, not just in the inner cities in Washington, all over the place, people. Now, this is an issue that needs to be addressed. Obviously, we need to make sure these individuals who are in public official positions, mayors, governors, police chiefs, etc., parents, need to be held accountable. How do you hold these people accountable when they know their minors are out there committing these carjackings and not getting, punishment, not coming home and getting their ass whooped, being said, hey, you're grounded for a month, no PlayStation, no hanging out with Johnny down the block who has a gun, who's been taking you on these carjacking sprees, looting, etc. How do you hold these parents accountable? That's what I want to know. What is the answer? Because when the parents don't want to discipline their children and tell them that, hey, carjacking's bad, you shouldn't be doing that. And why are you showing up late with, Johnny around the corner? Doesn't he sell drugs? If the parents aren't holding their children accountable, then how do we do that as a society as a whole? I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments. Let's watch this video.
Take a look at your screen. This is the condition of one woman's car after she said two people, including one child, stole it and crashed it on November 30th. The car, as you can see, is completely totaled. Welcome to 8 News at 6. We have a crime alert for you tonight about this very story because we are hearing from a DoorDash driver who says she was recently carjacked at gunpoint while finishing up a shift at a Richmond apartment complex. I'm Deanna Albritton.
I'm Eric Phillips, but there's more to this story. Police found the car crashed in Henrico. 8 News reporter Madison Moore is live in Richmond now with all the details. Madison, good evening.
Eric, Deanna, good evening. This actually all happened around midnight on November 30th, just 15 minutes before her shift ended. And now the driver tells me she actually started door dashing to help buy a house for her and her 10-year-old daughter. But since this incident happened, she's decided to put this job in the past.
Man, can you believe that? This woman's just trying to buy a house. She's working 2 jobs, DoorDash and a nursing assistant. How are we gonna do this when we can't stop these children from doing this? And we're having this skyrocketing crime of these individuals doing this, and the parents are doing absolutely nothing. And then this woman has to suffer with the trauma and losing her car and not being able to get a house and live the American dream.
I started thinking, what's going to happen to my daughter if something happens to me? What's going to happen?
It was just a normal Wednesday night for Deon Smith, but as she was finishing up her last DoorDash delivery at an apartment complex in Westover Hills in South Richmond, she says an 11-year-old and a teenager robbed her at gunpoint.
As I was walking towards.
So she goes into an apartment complex to make her delivery. Now, these kids are probably on the stoop outside their house waiting for some person who was going to get this wrath of the 11-year-old and steal their car. They were just chilling, waiting, and they saw this woman. Oh, she's the DoorDash delivery driver, isn't she? Let's go and get her car and go joyriding. That's exactly what happened to this woman. Now, it's pretty sketchy driving up in an apartment complex when you know you're going there. It's the gulag, and in the gulag, they carjack. But she's brave to go in there to make that money, so props to her.
I was delivering the food. I saw two persons heading back out to get in my car to go. That's when this younger one ran up to me. I thought he was asking for money, and come to the realization, he wasn't asking for money. He was telling me, give me your keys, give me your keys. I was telling him I didn't have any keys on me.
Smith left her car running and the keys were inside. She tells me she tried hard to defuse the situation.
I was like, where's your mom? Why are you outside doing this at this time of the night? And he said, don't worry about that. So I just kind of listened and follow what the Holy Spirit was telling me at the time. And just leave them, let them take the car.
Then the teen who...
Don't worry about it. What are you doing this age, kid? Where's your parents? That's what she's trying to tell them. What are you thinking? What's going through your 11-year-old mind when you want to carjack me when I'm just trying to make a living in this world? And here you are trying to ruin that. And not only ruin my life, but your life. 11 years old. There's levels to this. He's going to go from carjacking to looting to robbery to rape to all kinds of other murder. And the next thing you know, he's in jail for the rest of his life, or he gets shot himself. I'm going to show you another video of these children flashing guns here in a second. Let's keep watching this.
Who police identified as 18-year-old Jalea Henley of Goochland yelled at her to get in the car, but Smith refused, and moments later they drove off in her paid-off Honda HR-V. Police found the car crashed in a rural area of Henrico, totaled with the two inside. They were transported to...
Wow, I cannot believe those kids are not dead. Look at this crash. Like, the whole front end is completely gone. I don't even see an engine in there. No, the engine's just hanging off on the side of the road somewhere. They slammed into whatever, going fast and not caring about their own lives, not caring about no one else's life. I mean, this is what these people are looking forward to. These criminals, these young juveniles looking to cause anarchy, actual agents of chaos, actually don't caring about their lives or no one else's lives, especially someone else's livelihood when this woman was just trying to hash out a living.
To a local hospital to be treated for non-life-threatening injuries, both charged with robbery. Now this leaves Smith without a car to drive her 10-year-old daughter to school and getting to her full-time job as a certified nurse assistant.
I'm really glad that they had hold on to them, because if they didn't get them, they probably could be out there being a menace to somebody else or something.
Yeah, so being a menace to somebody else, because they're going to get let out, and almost immediately. Especially with these, Democrat-run cities, they don't really see crime for what it is and actually hammer them with, the book, the law. Putting them in jail for longer than, a couple hours and actually charge them with serious crimes to let them know that, hey, if you're a repeat offender, you're going to get hit with huge charges. And we're going to keep you in here to make sure you do not go and continue to do this. And you learn your lesson. Your parents should have been putting you in timeout. And now we got to do it. The law's got to do it. And you got to do it behind bars. These are what these young individuals are having to go through with. And when their parents are not really caring about disciplining them, and they're not really thinking about their future, they're just thinking about what's next. What's the next carjacking? What's the next robbery? Let's go and get a gun. Let's get a Uzi. Let's get whatever. Let's shoot up the houses or the neighbors or whatever. Who cares about everyone else, because we don't care about ourselves. There seriously needs to be a look into these juveniles, because once they get to 18 years old, they're just going to get introduced to the system, if they're not already introduced in the system, at the young age that they're doing this. 11 years old, 12 years old, 10 years old. Next, we're going to have, 8-year-olds walking around with, guns, trying to strap and clap people, right? It's insane. Let's take a look at this video of these kids. They're flashing their guns around, and they're in their, caps and gowns. Looks like they're graduating high school or something. And they think it's appropriate to flash their Glocks around. That's okay, right? It's just normal living. We might be dead tomorrow, but check out this gun. Watch.
I told you my dude, I told you it's gonna get. We don't play with no regular nigga. On my butter. We do. Don't play my slide. On first grade, we'll guess like that. Switchy. No talking. No cap. No talking. Switch game. 3 switches right here. And I put the bitches. That's just enough right there. That's enough. 1, 2, 3. That's enough. We don't even get our shit off.
Yeah, people. This is ridiculous, man. I don't really know why parents think this is okay. Like, when you just saw that video of these kids flashing these guns, their parents have got to have seen that right now, right? Like, did they confiscate this gun to make sure they didn't use it on someone, use it on themselves, or use it to, shoot in the air to scare people, whatever? There seriously needs to be a little pow-pow action on the bottom with the belt, putting them in corners, time out before the police have to do it, or they're 6 feet in the ground. Unfortunately, this isn't happening in inner cities or anywhere across the country, because this is just a rise. It's continuing to rise. Over almost 70% of the carjackings are by juveniles. Now, they know how to take advantage of the system, obviously, because if you're a juvenile committing crimes, for one, you have to have your parent there, right? You can't just be like, hey, you're going to jail, Timmy. Well, where's mom and dad at? They need to be here to make sure I'm cool. Everything's all right. They need to be there to look over me, look after me, to get me out of jail, etc. And they know that juveniles are not charged with serious crimes. They just get these small, criminal mischief crimes, robbery, etc. and let out on the street. Maybe they get probation, whatever. They're not really getting hit with the book. Now, regardless of what the age, I think if you do a serious crime, you need to be hit with the book, because you're going to be 18 years old and not 11 years old. You've been carjacking your whole life, basically. 5, 6 years of being a repeat criminal offender. You may have hurt someone, you may have killed someone and no one knew about it. You might have got away with it. It wasn't a serious crime. The judge let you off with a slap on the wrist. And now you're 18 years of old and you're going to be hit with the same crimes again, except this time it might be a little serious. Now, I'm saying that those serious crimes should be happening when you're, a juvenile. We need to stop this. We need to nip this in the behind before it gets worse, before they have years and years and years to do their crimes, to level up. Like I said, there's a leveling system of this. And if you're 11 years old doing carjackings, just know what your future looks like with that, guys. Like, comment, subscribe to BuzzView. See you on the next one.